Hello and welcome to today's video. I hope you all are healthy. In today's video, I am going to demonstrate the step-by-step process to install and configure CloudWatch agent in EC2 instance. We all know monitoring is an integral part of any IT application infrastructure. After building any IT infrastructure, we have to monitor how the application is performing and how the infrastructure is performing. To monitor these system level metrics, CloudWatch provides logs, metrics, and dashboarding capabilities. But there are some use cases or metrics that CloudWatch by default does not support. Today we will discuss all those use cases. If you follow today's session without skipping any content, you should be able to configure CloudWatch agent for your organization or for your workloads. Before I start, I would like to request you, if you are new to our channel or haven't subscribed yet, then please subscribe to our channel and please click on the bell icon. Our goal is to help everyone with premium content like this without any paid subscription, and your support will motivate us. Let's get started and let's try to understand what is CloudWatch agent. CloudWatch agent is a software package that continuously runs on your servers and automatically collects metrics and log from your servers. You must be thinking, where can you install CloudWatch? You can install CloudWatch to Amazon EC2 instances. It could be Linux, Windows, Mac, or any other operating systems currently EC2 supports. Or you can install in hybrid environment. Maybe you are working with other cloud providers like Azure, GCP. You will be able to install CloudWatch agent into Azure Cloud virtual machines or even in Google Cloud. Or you have an on-premise workload and you are working parallelly with on-premise or in AWS, or you might have only on-premise and you want to use cloud native monitoring and dashboarding capabilities. In that case, you will be able to install CloudWatch agent in your on-premise VMs also. Now, if I may take you to CloudWatch dashboards, by default, CloudWatch will provide different metrics based on all the services. In today's video, we will review CloudWatch metrics, CloudWatch dashboards, and what are the default metrics CloudWatch provides for some of the AWS services. Now you must be asking, why do you need CloudWatch agent if CloudWatch by default support these many metrics? Now let's try to understand what are the use cases where you need CloudWatch agent. First, if you want to analyze memory and disk space related metrics, then you need CloudWatch agent. By default, CloudWatch does not track RAM or disk space available in your EC2 instance. This is a very important concept you should remember, especially if you are appearing for any AWS certifications. You will get at least 1 to 2 questions in Solution Architect Associates or in Professional regarding this concept. By default, CloudWatch does not track memory and disk space related metrics. Next, if you want to monitor custom log location, maybe you have a web application and the web application is writing some application log. You want to create some metrics using that log, or you might want to read those logs using CloudWatch logs. Then you need CloudWatch agent to monitor those logs. Next, if you want to create any custom metrics and custom namespaces, by default CloudWatch will provide all the system level metrics. But if you have a requirement where you need any custom metrics or you want to create a matrix with custom namespace, in that case you have to install CloudWatch agent and you can send those metrics from your EC2 instances or even from containers. If you want to capture any operating system level metrics or any application specific logs or metrics, then CloudWatch agent is the option. Last but not least, if you want to collect logs and metrics from containerized application or even from microservices. These are some of the high-level use cases where you need CloudWatch agent. Now let's review what are the prerequisites that is there for CloudWatch agent to work. The first obvious prerequisite is you have to install CloudWatch agent. Since this is a software package, you have to install CloudWatch agent. It could be in your EC2 instance, or it could be in other cloud provider virtual machine, or it could be in your on-premise data centers. Next, you have to assign proper privileges for CloudWatch agent to communicate with CloudWatch service. If you are using an EC2 instance, then you have to assign an IAM instance role which will have proper privileges. Today, I am going to demonstrate the process of creating an IAM instance role with proper privileges for CloudWatch agent to communicate with CloudWatch service. If you are working in on-premise or as part of other cloud provider and you want to monitor the metrics with CloudWatch, then you have to create IAM access key and secret access key. Managing on-premise virtual machines or managing a virtual machine in other cloud provider is not part of today's demo. Then security outbound rules. As you know, security group is a logical firewall at instance level. Using security group, you can filter the inbound and outbound traffic to your EC2 instance and from your EC2 instance. If you are using default security group, then default security group will have all the rules that allows your CloudWatch agent to communicate with CloudWatch service. But if you are using a custom security group, in that case, you have to make sure the outbound rules are open enough to communicate CloudWatch agent in your EC2 instance with the CloudWatch services. These are the high-level prerequisites for CloudWatch agent to work. One point I'd like to mention here, you should understand these prerequisites by your heart. This will help you to answer couple of questions in AWS certification exam, as well as if you have a workload where you are using CloudWatch, and it will help you to debug any issues when CloudWatch will not be able to communicate with CloudWatch services. Now let me take you to AWS Management Console and show you the step-by-step process how to install CloudWatch agent in a Linux-based EC2 instance. I have logged into AWS Management Console and I am in AWS Management Console home screen. Now let me take you to EC2 dashboard. Now I am in EC2 dashboard, and if I'll go to the instances running in my account, then you can see I have two EC2 instances. Out of that, one Windows EC2 and another one Linux EC2. I am going to demonstrate today's video in a Linux based EC2 instance. If you want to follow along with me, please launch a Linux based EC2 instance before proceeding further with this video. Now let me show you a couple of the parameters from these EC2 instances. If I'll select the EC2 instance and if I'll go to security group, currently the EC2 instance is running with a default security group. In today's demo, we'll create a custom security group with required inbound and outbound rules. We will assign the security group with these existing EC2 instances. Next, if I'll go to the networking tab, the EC2 instance has a public and private IPv4 address. That means the EC2 instance is in a public subnet. Please validate these configurations for the EC2 instance you have launched for this video. Now let me go to CloudWatch. I'll duplicate this tab and then from the service search option, I'll click CloudWatch. I am in the CloudWatch dashboard. Now if I'll go to metrics, I should see all the metrics based on the services. I am using a new AWS account for this demo and I have only EC2 instances with attached EBS volumes. That is why CloudWatch is displaying metrics only for EC2, EBS, logs and uses. If you are using any other AWS services in your account, you will see metrics for those services as well. Let me dive deep into the EC2 matrices. You can see I have metrics based on the CPU uses, based on the disk write, based on the network in, network out, based on the disk read bytes and disk write bytes. But if you go and scan the entire list, you will not find anything related to the RAM or memory or even the disk spaces. That is what I was trying to point out in the presentation. And today we are going to generate those metrics using CloudWatch agent. Now let me take you back to the EC2 instances. Now let's review all the prerequisites one by one. We'll start with IAM instance profile. Now let me take you to the Linux EC2 instance. If I'll go to action, security, modify IAM role, currently I have one IAM role attached to this EC2 instance and the role name is EC2 instance role. I have created this instance role to establish SSH connection to the Linux EC2 instance using SSM session manager. But in today's video, I am going to demonstrate how you can create an IAM instance role and how you can attach that instance role with the EC2 instance. Now let's go back to IAM and let's review the process how to create an IAM instance role first. I am in the IAM dashboard. From the left hand side, I'll select roles. Then I'll click on the button create role. Then I'll go with the default selection AWS service because I am going to create this role for EC2. Now if you want to create this role for any other services, then you can select the service from the drop down. But since EC2 and Lambda that is already there in the screen, I'll go and select the EC2. Then I'll click next. At the permission policy search bar, I'll type CloudWatch. Then all the policies related to CloudWatch will be filtered out. And now I am going to select the second from the list, CloudWatch Agent Admin Policy. Now if I may expand the policy and review what are the policies that will allow. It will allow put metrics data, describe tags, put log events, describe log stream, describe log groups, create log stream and create log groups. These are the sufficient permission for the CloudWatch agent in the EC2 instance to communicate with the CloudWatch service. I am going to select one more permission policy because I want to use SSM agent or I want to use SSM agent session manager to connect to this EC2 instance. That is why I am going to write SSM and filter those policies. Now from this list, I am going to select Amazon SSM full access. Now I'll click next. I'll provide a role name. I'll give a name like EC2 instance profile for demo for the role. You can give whatever the name you want. I'll review the permissions. I'll review the name and then I'll click create role. Now the role is getting created. You can see the role has been created. If I will select this role and if I'll go to the role search bar and paste that role, here is the role that we have created. Let's go back to the EC2 dashboard. Now we'll go to the EC2 instances. I'll select the Windows EC2 instance. I'll go to action. I'll go to security. Then I'll click modify IAM role and then I'll select the newly created IAM role and then I'll click update IAM role. By this way, you will be able to attach or modify any IAM role for EC2 instance. Now let's do the same thing for the Linux based EC2 instance. I'll select that instance. I'll go to action. I'll go to security, modify IAM role and then I'll select the EC2 instance profile for demo, that is the newly created role, and I'll click update IAM role. Now both my EC2 instances had the proper privileges to communicate with CloudWatch service. Next prerequisite is we have to modify the security group. Now let's go to security group dashboard. From the left hand side under network and security, we have the security groups. If I'll click the security group, I'll come to the security group dashboard. I'll create a new security group. I'll give a name demo security group. Now description, you can give whatever the description you want. I'll use the same description. VPC, I have only one VPC, that is the default VPC. That is why by default the VPC is selected. Now in the outbound rule, you have to remember that you should allow all the connections. That is why I have that outbound rule. Now if I am going to restrict that rule to only my IP, then the CloudWatch agent in the EC2 instance will not be able to communicate with CloudWatch service. This is one important aspect you have to remember. And you can expect at least 1 or 2 questions in your AWS certification exams related to this topic. I'll go back and I'll modify from anywhere IPv4. Now I am going to create an inbound rule for this security group. I'll click add rule. I am going to create a RDP rule. I'll select RDP from the type. By default, the port range 3389 will be populated. From the source, I'll select anywhere IPv4. Now you can create another one rule for SSH. Select SSH. The port will be 22 and then you can select source as anywhere. But for this demo, since we are going to use SSM session manager, we really do not need this SSM port. What we can do, we can give HTTP and HTTPS access. I'll select HTTP, the default port is 80 and I'll select anywhere IP. Now I'll create security group. The security group has the sufficient inbound and outbound rules that will allow the CloudWatch agent to communicate with the CloudWatch service, as well as it will allow us to access any web application that we are going to host in this EC2 instance. I'll go to EC2 dashboard. I'll go to the instances and I am going to change the security group. Now let's select the Windows server. I'll go to action. I'll go to security, change security group. From there, I am going to select the demo security group and I am going to add the security group and I am going to save the configuration. I'll do the same thing for Linux server. I'll select the server. I'll go to action, security, change security group. I'll select the newly created security group, add security group and save the configuration. Now we have covered 2 prerequisites. Next step or the last step is we have to install CloudWatch agent. For this, I am going to install that CloudWatch agent in a Linux based server and I am going to select the EC2 instance. I am going to click connect and then I am going to connect that EC2 instance using session manager. Session manager connected the EC2 instance and now I am at the SSM sessions manager console. First, I will elevate my permission. I am going to install a HTTPD server here. I'll type yum. This command will install HTTPD server in this Linux EC2 instance. Next, we are going to create a HTML file and we are going to place under /var/www/html. This will help us to host a web server or a simple web server in this EC2 instance. For this, I'll write echo and then hello from CloudWatch agent demo web server. You can write whatever you want in that HTML file and then I'll put into /var/www/html and I'll give a name index.html. Next, let's start the web server. For this, I am going to use the command systemctl start httpd. Next, we will enable httpd server. For that, we will use the command systemctl enable httpd. One point I'd like to say, if we will enable the httpd server, whenever we will restart the EC2 instance, the httpd server will be automatically started. Our web server is started. Let's try to access the web page. For that, I'll go to the EC2 instance. I'll copy the public IP address and I will write or I'll type in a browser and then I'll write index.html. Here you go. Our web server is working and we can access the web page. Next, we are going to install CloudWatch agent on the Linux EC2 instance. I'll go back to the Systems Manager Session Manager console. First, I'll clear my screen. I'm going to type this command yum install Amazon CloudWatch agent. Yes, I want to install and I'll confirm with the letter Y. We have installed CloudWatch agent successfully to this EC2 instance. CloudWatch agent needs collect D to work and collect logs and metrics from the EC2 instances. CollectD is a popular open source solution with plugin that can gather system statistics for a wide variety of applications. For that, we are going to install CollectD now. CollectD is available in Amazon Extra packages. So I will use the command sudo Amazon Linux Extra install CollectD. Now let's execute this command. I'll give yes. Now CollectD is installed. I'll clear the screen. Next, let's configure the CloudWatch agent. For that, I am going to run Amazon CloudWatch agent config wizard. The agent config wizard is under OPT AWS Amazon CloudWatch agent bin directory. But don't worry, I am going to give all those comments in the video description. There is a spelling mistake. Now let's try to. It would be config wizard. Now let's run that config wizard. While configuring the CloudWatch agent config wizard, the system will ask your input for different parameters. For this demo, I will select default option for most of the configurations. I am configuring this CloudWatch agent for this demo purpose only. Please use the option based on your use case and what is applicable for you. Our operating system is Linux. That is where I'll go with the default option. Next, it is asking, are you trying to install in a EC2 or a on-premise? We are trying to install in EC2. That is why again I'll go with the default choice. It is asking which user you are planning to run. Is that root user? Is that CW agent or is that other? Again I'll go with the default. Then it is asking, do you want to turn on status D daemon? I'd say yes and I'll go with the default. Then it is asking what is the port? I'll go with the default port. Then it is asking what is the collection interval? Again I'll go with the default option. Then it is asking what is the aggregation interval for the metrics collected by status D daemon? Again I'll go with the default option, but if you want any custom option, if you want 10 seconds, 30 seconds, you can give that particular number. Then it is asking, do you want to monitor metrics from CollectD? I'll say yes, why not? Then do you want to monitor any host matrix, that is CPU, memory? I'd go with yes. Next, do you want to monitor CPU matrix per core? Why not? Yes. Do you want to add EC2 dimensions like image ID, instance ID, instance type? Again, I'll select the default option. It is asking, do you want to aggregate EC2 dimensions in instance ID? Why not? Then, would you like to collect your metrics at high resolution? And by default is 60 seconds. In that case, I might want 30 seconds. So I'll go with the option 3. Which default matrix configuration do you want? It gives basic, standard, advanced or none. I'll go with basic because this is for the demo. Now it will give you a summary of all the options you have selected in a JSON format. You can go ahead and review that. Once you reviewed, next question is, are you satisfied with the above configuration? If you are satisfied, you will write yes or 1. If you are not, you will write 2. And then again, you will go through the previous steps and whatever the configuration modification is required, you can do. Since we have validated everything is correct, that is why I'll go with default option 1 and I'm happy with the configurations, whatever we have done. Now it is asking, do you have any existing CloudWatch log agent? I am installing, that is why I do not have, and I will go with the default option no. Next, do you want to monitor any log file? I'd say yes, I want to monitor, and that is the step I want to show you if you want to monitor any custom log files. Let me go with default option 1. Next, it's asking you for the log file path you want to monitor. For this demo, I am going to monitor the HTTPD access log file and the error log files. For HTTPD server, the access log file will be under var log HTTPD directory. That is why I will give the log path as /var/log/httpd and then the log file name access_log. If you are following this video and configuring the log path for your organization or for your application, then please select the log path that is applicable for your application or for your organization. And then it is asking what is the log group name. I am happy with the default name access log. Then what is the log stream name? I am happy with the default instance. And then it is asking what is the retention day in days. -1 means it will retain forever. It will not delete. I really do not want to retain this log forever. Maybe I want to retain this log for 90 days. That is why I will go with 9. Then it is asking, do you want to specify any additional log file to monitor? I'll create yes. And this time I want to monitor the error log. For HTTPD server, the error log file name will be error_log and it will be under /var/log/httpd/error_log. The log group, I'll use the default log, the log stream instance ID, and again log retention, maybe I have 90 days. I'll select 9. Now it is asking, do you want to specify any additional log file? I have selected access log and error log. I do not have any other log to monitor. That is why this time I'll go with 2. The next step is, it will ask me to validate or review all the configurations we have made, and it will populate the configurations in a JSON file. I am happy with that. I'll select 1. Then it is asking what parameter store you want to use to store this configuration file. I'll go with the default option, Amazon CloudWatch Linux. Now it is asking what region you are. Currently I am working in US East 1 region. That is why it is coming as a default option. But if you are working in a different region and it is not coming as a default option, you can write that region. For this demo, I'll go with the default option. Now it is asking which AWS credential should it use to send the JSON configuration file to parameter store. I'll go with the default option. Finally, I got the confirmation that it successfully put the configuration file to the parameter store. The next step is I'll run the CloudWatch agent using this configuration file from SSM parameter store. And I'll type this command. It will be under bin folder, then Amazon CloudWatch agent, then it would be CTL control file, and then I'll write a fetch config because I'm going to fetch that configuration file from SSM, or I'm going to fetch that configuration file from the parameter store. That is why I will use fetch config m and then EC2 -s-c SSM and then the configuration file name Amazon. I know it's a long command and very difficult to remember, but don't worry. I'm going to give this command in the video description. In fact, I'm going to give all the commands in the video description. I hope you will be able to reuse those commands when you are going to configure for yourself. Now let's execute that command. I think I did some typing mistakes. Now let's go back, and yes, I haven't used a space here between fetch config and m. Now the command is ready. And let's execute. Yes, now the CloudWatch agent is running successfully in the EC2 instance. If we allow a couple of minutes, CloudWatch agent will collect the logs and metrics from the EC2 instance and will send it to CloudWatch service. Now let's go to CloudWatch dashboard. I am in CloudWatch dashboard. If I'll go to all metrics, here you go. You can see that the custom matrix is already populated or the custom namespace is already populated. That means the CloudWatch agent is successfully collecting those metrics and sending to CloudWatch. Now if I'll go and review those metrics, and if I'll go with the instance ID, here you can see the Linux server, memory used and disk used. If you remember, I talked at the beginning, these are the metrics by default CloudWatch does not support. And if you want to collect any metrics related to memory or disk space, in that case, you have to use CloudWatch agent. Now we have those metrics available for the EC2 instance. As of now, I don't have data to show in the metrics. This is because we have installed CloudWatch agent just now. If we allow 30 minutes or maybe 1 hour for the CloudWatch agent to collect and report to the service, we will see some tangible values and graphs. I'm not going to wait for that long to complete the video, but I hope you understood the process and the concept. Let's again go back to the custom metrics and let's review other metrics. Here you can see the image ID, instance type metrics. Now if I'll go and if I'll select that Linux server, it is collecting all the disk used percentage from all those disks. So these are the metrics I was talking about. If you have a requirement to collect any disk space usage or memory or RAM based metrics, then you have to install CloudWatch agent. To summarize, in today's video we saw what are the use cases where you need CloudWatch agent. Then you review all the prerequisites that you must meet for CloudWatch agent to successfully communicate with the CloudWatch service. Then we installed CloudWatch agent into a Linux-based EC2 instance. And finally, we have reviewed all those custom metrics that CloudWatch agent has collected for us in a CloudWatch dashboard. Now we came to a conclusion about today's topic. I hope I was able to clarify all your doubts. If you have any question regarding today's topic, please post your question as comment to this video. We will answer at earliest. Before we conclude today, I would like to request you please subscribe our channel and please click on the bell icon to get notification for new topics. If you want me to cover any topics, please provide your request as a comment on this video. If you appreciate our effort, please like this video. It will definitely motivate us. At the end, thank you. Please take care and stay safe.